Grand rising, star blossoms, or grand setting, wherever you are in this big, beautiful, wide world that we live in. My name is Rachel, the Galactic Shaman, and tonight we'll be speaking about how do you stay in the present moment. So, being in the present moment, what does that mean? It means to be able to be in any situation at any given time and to be a witness to what is going on and not being caught up in the outside world. What's going on around you? So today I had a client, a very beautiful client, and she had a 14-month-old child that was a little bit tired, a little bit, very joyful, greeted me beautifully. Um, couldn't fault this child at all. And we got inside and we started talking, and I soon realised that what she'd booked into for a reading was, in actual fact, a healing. And she was all happy. She was giving me things, playing. She was pointing at the table, saying, "Let's get this reading done." And while her mum and I were conversing, and I said to her, "Yes, we will get into this. We will get your mummy's reading done. It's okay, but it's just not quite time yet, sweet." And she's like, "Yeah." And she kept pointing to the table. And I was like, "It's okay, we're going to get it done, but your mummy needs to have a bit of a talk first." So, and I just giggled as well with her. But her mother and I got talking, and she wanted the attention, but I was unable to give her the attention. I gave her a little bit of a yes or a nod or a knowing look or anything like that, just to acknowledge her so that her mother and I could get on with this healing that we were doing. And it turned out that this this little girl's grandmother was in the room, and she kept coming up to me, putting her head on my knee, and I just kept rubbing her head absent-mindedly because she'd go, "Nan," and I go, "Yes, we're talking to your Nan," and I'm talking with the mother, and she just kept coming up, "Nan," and "Yes, I know, darling, your Nan is here," and she'd walk away and come back. She did that quite a few times, letting me know that Nan was here. And we had already understood that Nan was here because we were talking about her. And it was in that moment that, even though there was that little bit of a distraction, it still gave me the ability to focus on what we needed to do. And the mother's eyes started welling up, and she told me at the end of that that's exactly what her mother used to do with this little girl. I was like, "Oh, that is so beautiful." And she knew when it had finished because she actually went off and entertained herself. And I'm just like, "Okay, so we're done here." And like, we're talking, and then we get on to the next major important part of what was going on. And we're going through when we're doing what we're needing to do, and she just kept herself absolutely positively entertained that whole time. And it wasn't actually until we'd finished the second round of healing that we were going through that she actually stopped what she was doing and she came up and she put in my hand a little angel. And I went, "That is a beautiful angel, just like you, darling." And her mother did say a name, but I didn't quite catch it. So she was walking around with this little angel, and it was a beautiful experience. But in those moments where she needed that reassurance, it was good to be able to give her that little bit of reassurance, but it was also good to stay in that present moment without getting caught up in the emotions, because it was quite an emotional healing. We were going through the mother wound, and I could feel the emotions of the deceased loved one. And, she was very remorseful. She was very sorry. She was very, very emotional. And how do you get through doing something without getting so caught in the emotions? Because she really wanted to relay to her daughter exactly how she felt. So she understood the gravity of where she was coming from, even though she was not on earth to do it as so. And, I'm up for a good challenge. Yes, and as I say that, I can feel the eye roll of my team going, "No, you don't." Yeah, that's true. I do like a challenge, but I also like to be able to not have them put in such a dire circumstance. But we can't choose our circumstances of when we are going to be put in a situation where we need to practice being present and not getting caught up with the emotion. And it's through years and years and years of practice that, um, you know, today I didn't get wrapped up and I wasn't a blubbering mess of emotions anymore. That I was able to remain present for this beautiful young woman and her child while they went through and did this beautiful healing with her. And I've been put in many situations in the past where I have not been able to be in that present moment. I've been sitting there listening to somebody, but my mind's off going the laundry list, the shopping list, petrol, wash the car, clean the clothes. Ah, I've still got dishes to do when I get home, and those thoughts are like invasive weeds. And when we have invasive weeds, we're like, we're not present. We're not here for the person that you're sitting in front of because you're not listening to what they're saying. You're not there to be a therapist for a lot of people, but you are there to be present to say, "Thank you for sharing your story. I hear you. I acknowledge you." When people feel validated because they cannot validate themselves, that's when their healing process starts. And that's when your realization starts that you have started to become a witness to a situation, even though you can relate to it. Sometimes they just don't need you to relate your story to it. There's just so many layers to being present in the moment, and one of them is not having those thoughts that are racing through your head, going, okay, my to-do list for today, but I'm here talking to so and so, and then they look at you and you're like, I'm listening. Then they say, but what did you say? What did I say? You try and relate to what they said, but they've caught you out because you haven't been present. Have you ever actually had that experience yourself? Yep, so have I. It was a very long time ago that I was sitting and listening to a client, and they were going through the, they were going through something at that stage, and I was just looking at this particular person, going, okay, our session's nearly over, and she's still got so much to go through. How can I help her? And she stopped and she looked and she said, are you all right? And I went, yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I was just listening to what you were saying. I was just thinking that there's a lot here to unpack, and we don't have a lot of time left. And yeah, I know I need a lot of help. And I said, healing comes at a time when you're ready to unpack it. We've unpacked everything on your list today, yet we're just about out of time, and I suggest another session. They didn't come back, but that's beside the point. That, and there are a few other things on my mind that stop me from being fully present. And the way to becoming the witness and practicing detachment and becoming the witness of this story, not your story, a story, is first you need to control the thoughts that are going on in your head, because when you're able to control those thoughts, nothing enters. And when you're with a client or with your child or your partner, you want to be present. You want to give them 1000% right there and then. But when you've got your lists going through your head, you're not being present. So controlling your thoughts that come through. There's a few practices, and it's how you control it. When your thoughts come in while you're speaking with somebody that doesn't relate to what's happening in front of you or the story happening around you, do you stop, take stock, and go, no, that's not appropriate to yourself? Or do you just let your thoughts wander through? It's like having an open house, but you never wanted an open house. You wanted a closed, safe, private space. And allowing those thoughts to march through that private, closed, safe space is just like having a big housewarming party. Everybody's in there and they're all occupying your thoughts. And all you want to do is just be there with that person. It does take practice. There's no quick and easy way. There's just that onion comes to mind again. It's getting that onion layer peeled one by one by one by one. Unless, of course, you are a healer and you do a lot of your own self-healing and you're at that point where you can be present. However, you're still attached to the stories that people are speaking of, then this is where practicing detachment comes into play as well. Because we all have empathy. We've all called ourselves an empath at one point or another, and that allows us to feel the energy of the room when we walk in. Nowadays, I like to call myself a clair empath. Clair empath. I think I'm saying that correctly. And what that does, it allows me to walk into a room, read a room without taking on the emotions, feelings, or anything else from anybody else nowadays. And that has come through being dedicated and practicing detachment and being the witness in the life and the lives of others. There are some times where I will need to match energies with another to get a point across, because they're treating you not right, or they were not treating me right. But at the end of the day, I heard what they said. I validated their points. And at the end of that conversation, they apologized. So it is practice, and it's not just practice once. You've mastered it, move on to the next one. It's constant practice. Everything that you do, that you learn, is a constant practice, then you become a master of it. This is what self-mastery is all about. And tonight we're talking about self-mastering the present moment. Yay. We're so caught up with technology and outside and external stimulation that our minds, our brains, and everything else take a long time to go, so where we get to the point that we are now ready to switch off and just decompress for the night. So tonight I'm going to share with you a technique where we're going to practice detachment and being the witness. So detachment first. Think back to a time you were so attached to drama, and wherever you went, there was always drama playing out around you, and inside you're just screaming for peace. Now, that particular moment, your empathic abilities kicked in. So tonight we're going to detach from that, and that's also part of your fight or flight response. And having a calm nervous system also helps you to detach from the drama playing out around you without it affecting you and getting caught in it. So, closing your eyes, breathing in, hold, hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out. And repeating after me, either in your head or in your thoughts. I give myself permission to decouple my fight or flight and let it all go. I now have a safe and healthy parasympathetic nervous system. Feel that sigh. Feel those shoulders drop. Peace. How does that feel now? Do you feel like you're ready to now go out, or do you just feel like you need to sit in that peace and that quiet? So, my star blossoms, thank you so much for listening tonight, or in the morning, or wherever you are in this big, wide, beautiful planet Earth. And just remember, practice doesn't always make perfect, but practice can sometimes help you to become the master. And that's what you're here to do, self-mastery. I love yous all so, so much. I send out so much universal love to everyone that is listening to this podcast today, who's coming in the future and enjoying the show. So much love to you wherever you are. Good night and sweet dreams, or good morning and have such an amazing day, Star Blossoms. Bye.